There's something about you. 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 There's something about you.
Hey everybody.
Hey guys.
Welcome to our channel. Today we're doing Q&A.
Yes.
Quickly, if you have questions that are not answered today, promise we will answer them in a future video, but please ask more questions and we'll maybe just keep this a thing for a little while.
Maybe like a little series.
Yeah. Bomkazi Nikolela. Sorry if I mispronounced that. How old are you guys? I am 32.
I don't know why he had to think about that. I'm 26 and I'll be 27 in a month.
Once you turn 30, like, it doesn't matter anymore. Yeah. For the most part.
You're just an adult.
Yes. Millie Ochanda says, hey guys, I'm an Irish accountant and would like to move to New York. Any ideas on where to start? Is it difficult getting an apartment for fair foreigners? Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Not difficult. So I think most places, like, if you don't have a job, you're going to need some sort of proof of income or have a lot of money saved up or have a guarantor here in the States, which is somebody who puts their credit on the line to make sure that you make your payments. So I would say if you're coming here fresh, come with some money. And if you're coming here for a job, then you totally got this.
Yeah, just make sure the job is definitely solid. Don't be like second or third interview. Make sure you have the offer and you are on their payroll.
Yes, but people with accents do well here. I think Americans give Irish and British. I think we give you a little bit of credibility just for your cool accent.
Next question is from Sierra Williams. She says, hey there, for the Q&A, could you generally describe what you each do for a living and what your long-term career goals are? Thanks.
I work in technology sales. Pretty simple. I work for a data center, managed service provider. So, sales, technology.
Yeah, and I'm in technology as well, but I'm actually a computer technician. So that's what we both do. I guess future career goals, we definitely want to work for ourselves. I don't know anyone that doesn't want to or anyone that doesn't believe that's the American dream. But until then, I would just love to be in a career where I'm happy, inspired, and I feel like, you know, I'm doing something to slightly change the world. Like that's what I want to do. And until we work for ourselves, that is the short-term goal. I'd
like to do that when we work for ourselves, too.
Exactly.
I think that'd be the best way. Childress Giles. Hey, what's
up? Hey, Childress.
We know you. My question for your Q&A is, do you see yourself staying in New York indefinitely or more places you'd like to experience living in as a couple?
Good question.
That's a really good question, actually. So I think for the next, I wouldn't say 5 years, maybe 2 to 3 years, we'll see where New York City takes us. I think there's big things in store for us yet. So we've only been here a year. Really just got, like, starting to get out there and meet new people and like learn the different companies and
the lay of the land.
The lay of the land. So I think we'd be open to West Coast. I think we'd be open to international as well. I think it'd be really cool to spend a couple of years internationally and get to experience something that a lot of people don't have an opportunity to experience. So that would be really cool. But thanks for the question.
Thank you. Next question is from JJ Connor. JJ says, I love this video. My husband and I love your channel. We're currently living in Houston, Texas and planning to move to Brooklyn sometime this summer or fall. We'd like to drive up to save on airfare. Anyway, could y'all give us any tips on driving up to the city? What hotel and rest stops do y'all recommend? Are there places we should stay away from? I'm Fulani, which is East African, and my husband is Irish. Thanks in advance.
What's up, Irishman?
Hey, another foreigner. Nice to meet you, JJ. When it comes to like rest stops in the traveling process, ours was pretty gruesome, I would say, for most. We didn't stop. And I think it's just because we've done many road trips before with each other. We just kind of know how to keep each other awake and take turns driving. But we went the whole way, like 13-hour drive, straight way.
We stopped for gas and food, but aside from that, we did not get a hotel. We just made it. And we actually left at like, what, 4 o'clock in the morning, sick?
Yeah.
After we sold our house. If you can make it in one drive, then that's cool. But I think from Texas, you're probably going to spend the night somewhere in the middle. So, recommendations, Yelp.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Try to stop somewhere in the middle. And congrats on moving to Brooklyn. I'm from Brooklyn, and I love it. It's a great little borough, so good luck. I hope your move is successful.
Hey, what's up when you get here?
Yeah.
Jonelle Adderley says, do you have any tips on ways people can keep their relationship fresh and exciting? It's a good question. It's something that I think, first of all, you have to actively do. So constantly keeping that front of mind, both partners having the same expectations, right?
Yeah.
I've been in trouble before because I have kind of gotten comfortable and not necessarily like dated Sheena on a regular basis. So we try to do that. And what else?
Just remember to date each other and try to keep things new and communicate. So if things aren't going well, say they're not going well. Don't just sit on it, because that just makes it worse over time, and you're probably going to go your separate ways, if you know what I mean.
I think the cool thing for us is that we have a relationship built on honesty and like just feedback, and sometimes it's not like what you say but how you say it, so just kind of being wiser about the timing and how you position things. And I think that's why we've made it work for so long, because no one's perfect and no two people are going to get along 100% of the time. So
no, and we're still working on it.
You'll be 90 years old working on it. It's just a thing, you know. So great question.
Next question is from True Glitter Dust. Are things tough in just New York, or is it all over the U.S.? Thanks. So I'm going to guess that you don't live in the U.S., so hello from wherever you're from. I want to say things are not tough all over the U.S. It just depends on where you decide to live. So just think about if you go on Expedia or any of these travel sites, whatever the key cities are that you see in the headline, like Miami, New York, those cities are going to be expensive.
Georgia's really cheap still, but I mean, everything comes with its pros and cons. I think, like, as far as the economy goes in general, I think that maybe 15 years ago or 20 years ago, things were a lot better in the United States, but I mean, I think that the hard workers always rise to the top no matter where you're at, so just be willing to work harder than the next guy. We still see lazy people in New York. I don't know how they make it.
No, they must have 8 roommates.
Rose Merlin Dorval asks, off topic, but can you do a makeup tutorial? I love how your makeup is.
It is nice.
Well, you know, Sheena does my makeup.
Thank you so much. I have somewhat of a tutorial on my channel. If you go visit it, it's She Meets City. But I'll try to come up with something for you guys. I think I've gotten that question quite a few times, so I'll put something together. But thank you. Next question is from Black Die 30, I believe. What areas in the city are the least expensive to live? This is a really good question, because people forget that New York is not just Manhattan, the island. There are many boroughs around it. So keep that in mind if you're on the hunt and you're looking for somewhere cheaper to live. Being on the island, being in Manhattan is going to be the most expensive, especially if you're dead center. As you go further north and further south, things get cheaper. And of course the outer boroughs are always going to be a good choice, as far as Queens and Brooklyn. And
you've also got Jersey, so Jersey City, and even further, it depends on how long you're willing to commute. Most people, I have a coworker that commutes from Jersey 3 days a week, and it's like an hour, 20-minute commute. So I mean, it's doable. It's not ideal, but
and you get more space.
Yeah, lower cost of living there. So
rule of thumb is the closer you are to the city center, the more you're gonna spend.
Totally. Destiny Gatlin says, me and my husband are planning a relocation. One of the issues that have come up is children. We do plan children, right? We do plan to have them. Once you guys decide to have kids, will you stay in New York City or will you move back home or elsewhere? Please explain your answer. Thanks. Totally a valid question. It really depends on I think more than anything, our income at first, but we would totally be open to, once our kids got a few years, like before they got into school, getting further out of the city. It's really hard to raise a kid in the city, but you know, everybody has their own circumstances. You can do it. For us, we would want to make sure that our kids are in a private school. Money actually fixes a lot of things, and we hope to kind of be where we need to be when the children do come along, because down the road it'll be a conversation, but it's tough. It's not going to beat around the bush on that. So you can totally make it work in one of the outer boroughs, but again, it just depends. Everybody's different.
But it's not impossible.
No. Good question.
This question is from Nola Rich. I am a New Yorker and getting married can be quite expensive. My own wedding cost $25,000. Yes. Would you want to get married in NYC or Georgia? Also, wedding restaurants are very popular in NYC. Would you be open to having your wedding in an upscale restaurant? I really do enjoy your videos. Please do more videos. I love your channel and hate the dry spells.
Sorry for the dry spells.
We totally understand.
Sorry for the last one. I've had the flu for a week and a half.
You've been like on and off sick.
So,
I would say, yeah, for that one, I think we've made up our minds that we'd like to get married in New York. Just because, you know, we're trying to make this home, and if we keep taking every major event and bringing it back to Georgia, it's like we're never fully getting out of Georgia, and it's pretty expensive to keep going back and forth. So this is where we live, so we'd like to have it here. And also, we know the ones that care about us will take the time to fly out, you know, as long as they're given notice.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'd like to have it here. Now, for cost, that's one of the major reasons why we're not married right now, is because we're trying to save that money and make sure cost is, you know, decent. So it just really all depends. I mean, depending on the restaurant, that might be, you know, something that we consider, because of course we want to have food and we just want it to be fun.
Yeah. I mean, like for us, we're kind of already married. Like we live like we're married. So it's really just about that special day, and I want it to be special for her. I want it to be, you know, great for me too, and our friends and family that come. But it really is kind of, I feel like I owe it to Sheena to give her the wedding that she deserves. And we had this talk before we moved, because the move kind of shook things up. Mm-hmm. So when the time comes, we're open to just about anything. Yep. John Vieve, the infamous, says, what made you guys want to move to New York? I'm sure you've answered this already, but I'm new. Well, thanks for your joining us and your newness. I guess you should speak first, right? Because you are the New York native. Oh, yeah. Well, I was born in Brooklyn, and when I moved to Georgia, I always thought in my mind, like, I'm going to end up back in New York. I don't think I can live here forever. You know, you just feel out of place. So we ended up back here, and I can't explain why, you know, someone would want to live in a city like this, but I do, and I enjoy it. I enjoy the challenge. I enjoy, like, things just kind of being, you know, shook up in our lives and not having such a constant, like, wake up, do this, go to work. So I don't know. It's still kind of like that, but yeah, but it's more of a challenge. It's not. I think it's less comfortable, and some people want comfortability, and we eventually do. I think in our lives too. We came here actually for the uncomfortableness, to kind of make us grow as people. I personally knew that she always wanted to be back in New York. I kind of just threw it out there. Let's move to New York, and she took me up on it. And it was literally like I didn't think about it or contemplate presenting it to her. I just like kind of mentioned it casually. And I wanted to see what her level of interest was, and I kind of just kept pushing. But for me specifically, same reasoning. I felt comfortable. I felt like I hadn't been challenged or grown as a person. Things were kind of easy and comfortable. So I know that you don't really grow as a person in those types of environments. You have to put yourself in a situation where things are not easy and not comfortable, and you have to think on your toes. And we've been here for just 1 year, and I'm totally happy that we did this, because we're closer as a couple. I think that it's made me have a lot more empathy and work harder. So that's my reason. Good question. Next question's from Daniel in Essence. What kind of video editing software do you guys use, if you don't mind me asking? I'm in New York for a month in November with my business partner for business. I'm a little nervous, though. So, sorry for the late reply. I hope the trip was awesome in November, because we're guessing it was last November. We use Final Cut Pro. Definitely not a beginner software, but it's not like the most complicated either. We started on iMovie. That comes on the Mac, comes for free. You can do it. You can use the iPad or iPhone actually too. It's an app. But yeah, I would suggest starting out on a free software program so you can understand the fundamentals, and then self-taught. So there's a lot of challenges that we've had with the software. Still have challenges editing. Definitely have a machine that can handle the software. But yeah, thank you. I hope your trip was awesome. Yeah. It's from Alistair Vergara. I'm planning on moving to New York once I'm 18. I'm working on my college applications to New York. Do you think that I can live in New York working and going to college at the same time? I hear it's very expensive, and some people say you shouldn't live alone because you will need 2 incomes going in. So should I move to New York at all? I'm also from Texas, and so many things here are so cheap. Do you think that the adjustment will be hard on me, or will I adjust easily? Thank you for your question, Alistair. We can 100% relate, because we came from Georgia, so we're neighbors, you know, and things are definitely a lot cheaper. There is no hiding that. There's a big difference coming up here. Now, being a student, I don't know if you're a single student, I would 100% recommend going into a dorm, just because of how expensive New York is. Rent's gonna be ridiculous. I think if you just hop on like Street Easy or Zillow and look at Manhattan rent prices, it's crazy. It's pretty ridiculous. So hopefully that helps you kind of get a ballpark. But as far as you should move or shouldn't move to New York, it's kind of on you. You know your abilities and your when things get tough, like how you get out of those situations, and maybe just use that as guidance, because you'll be stretched. And I think even the wealthiest people that were to come here would have some things that are adjustments, and they have to change. So great question.
And just save your money.
So yeah, it would be a lot easier coming here with money. Excellent with 4 T's. Says, thanks for the video. Thumbs up. I like you too because you seem to have a thoroughly adult relationship. You're organized. You plan together. You try new things. You're motivated and disciplined. Not always. Can you talk about how this dynamic works? Do you motivate one another? Is one person more fastidious? Is this how you keep the relationship fresh after so long, working as a team? Awesome questions. And thank you. We're kind of flattered.
Yeah, thank you.
Every relationship is not perfect, and it's challenging. And so we've kind of gone through almost 9 years now with an open mind, and I think wanting to get better for the other person. As far as organized, sometimes we plan together. We try really hard. Finances, I think, are tricky for any couple. So we've come a long way. You have to come a long way when you move here. Let's see, disciplined. Yeah, but every once in a while we're impulsive too.
Yeah.
So we have our fun side. And do we motivate one another? Heck yes. I mean, pretty much everything that I do during the day, I have her in the back of my mind is the reason why. I going to work or going to networking events, like, it's not always exciting, and sometimes you just want to go home and take your shoes off. So hopefully it motivate you, right?
Yeah, I think we're just a team first. We're friends and we're a team first, and everything else just kind of falls into place. So I feel like if you're in a relationship and you don't have that, you might want to work on the foundational aspects. That's what comes first. But I feel like if one of us fails, we both fail.
We're a unit. And that's kind of how we have looked at it from day one.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Next question is from Nisi Cup 95. Do you think you could do a video about growing up or raising kids in the city, pros and cons? So I grew up in Brooklyn with a single parent, and I turned out okay. So if anything, living here has definitely taught me, like, the hard knocks and things that you can't learn in school or learn in
for kids like me that grew up in the suburbs, in a not very diverse area. We just don't have the same understanding of life, I think. Sometimes very protected versus the city where you're
a bit more exposed.
You're exposed.
Yeah, so it just depends on what you want to introduce your children to. But what my mom's rule of thumb always was, wherever the best school is where we're going to live. So I would say if you're planning on having children, check out the school districts and all of that, and then live somewhere around that.
Keely Craig says, moving company advice. I'm coming from Richmond, Virginia, and I need to get at least my headboard, mattress, box spring, hutch, TV, bedside table. I can probably move the rest myself.
You can pay us.
Yeah.
Yeah, about that. So we didn't use a moving company. So when it comes to that, we may not be the best people to give you advice. We literally moved everything by ourselves, and we had our neighbors come over and kind of help us with the heavier pieces. If you're going to choose a moving company, I would recommend using something like Angie's List or something where you can get real reviews and find out if they're any good. And definitely read the fine print when it comes to their policies in terms on breaking your furniture or losing your furniture. Because I watched so much Judge Judy and seen where things really go south because people did not read those disclosures. So just do your research on them, make sure they're actually a good company, trustworthy, and hopefully they don't overcharge too much, because it's just moving furniture. Like, you shouldn't be paying thousands to move furniture. That's just insane to me.
Had I done it over with, again, like, I think we would have stripped down what we brought by probably like 60 or 75%.
Yeah. Because a hutch, I mean,
It's probably a nice hutch, and you probably have a nice bedside table and all that stuff, but like what you're gonna find is it may not fit, and you don't want to get an apartment based off of your furniture. That's the wrong way to do it. So just like for us going forward, I think if we were to ever move to a big city or from here, I think virtually everything except personal items would go. So that's our recommendation.
Yeah, find out the value for those pieces and then see, is this worth me paying more for square footage to keep this, or is it worth to sell or to give away? Like, just really think of the value in those pieces, and if they mean a lot to you or not.
And if it's not a ton of stuff, like Rhodey might they're in Virginia, so Rhodey might be a good. Rhodey's just basically like an independent person-to-person service like Uber, where people that may be driving from Richmond to New York City, basically you pay them to put it in their truck or SUV or whatever it is. So maybe not a perfect match, but there are options that like peer-to-peer moving places too. So just be careful. But anyway.
So 41 says, I have a question. I remember y'all saying you were moving. Is Brooklyn a possibility? I could totally see y'all living there. My best friend lives in Kensington. I'm not really familiar with Kensington, but I'm from Brooklyn and I could totally see us living there. However, Brooklyn is becoming extremely gentrified and it's almost like becoming more of a hassle and more of an expense to live there and just kind of staying where we're at here in Manhattan. And especially because Dustin is working in Manhattan and so am I, that's a major factor on whether or not we want to take that type of commute. And also they plan on working on the L line, which any of you guys know New York, that is like the in and out to Brooklyn. And if that line goes down... And it's
already like uber crowded during rush hour, so I can only imagine what the ramifications are going to be.
Yeah, so is it at the top of our list? No. Is it out of the question? Absolutely not. But there are some places that are, like Staten Island is not going to happen. Long Island is not going to happen. But
parts of Jersey wouldn't happen.
No,
way up north.
Yeah, nah.
No.
But Brooklyn is, it's in there. We just have to find something
We may end up there in a couple of years.
Yeah, if we want to invest, that's probably where it's going to be. If we really want to put down roots and, like, get a home.
Yeah.
But who knows? It's all in the future. It's what the future holds. That is the end of our Q&A. We hope that we answered all of your questions.
I think we did.
And
I think that's everything up to date.
Like, we even went back and, like, retroactively got questions. So we hope we answered your particular question, but if we didn't, still feel free to put it below and we will get to it. If you guys like Q&As, let us know and we'll do like a Q&A series and just keep doing these as time goes on. And we are going apartment hunting this weekend, which we told you guys it was coming and now it's finally here. So we will definitely have like a series or something going on. I feel like our moving to New York videos get a lot of hits. Like, people really love seeing that information, and I can understand that. So maybe we'll start a series of, like,
this is our experience.
Yeah, just apartment hunting, finding
We didn't know
furniture.
What to expect coming in, so I think that would be really cool, like a first-person
view of that.
So
that video is coming up. We'll break it up into pieces so we can release something, like,
yes,
more frequently.
So, and I think going forward, like, hopefully weekly or bi-weekly.
Yeah.
The sickness threw us off. The flu sucks, and I haven't had it in 10 years, but I got it this year.
He was whiny.
So get your flu shot, everybody.
That's it. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't seen our last video, be sure to check that one out. We did something a little bit different. So
where is it going to be? Right here?
It could be right there.
It could be right here. Or right here.
It's probably going to be up there.
I could spin it on my hand.
No, you not. Don't listen to him because he ain't going to be spinning. No, it's not.
Yes, I'm gonna make that happen.
He doesn't even know how to make that happen. So thank you guys for giving us so much love on that previous video and giving us all that feedback. We hope you enjoyed this one and stay tuned for the next. Bye.
Later.